And then share a little bit of my screen. There we go. Okay. Okay, when you are ready to begin, we're going to start today's class laying down. So finding your way to your yoga mat if you are not there yet. And if you want to use some props, you always can, grabbing a little something to put under your head or maybe something under your knees. You're welcome to find whatever pose that you'd like here to start, but if you haven't tried constructive rest pose or haven't tried it recently, I might encourage you to give it a try. Bending your knees, standing your feet up near the edges of your mat. I like to pick up my pelvis, kind of tuck my tailbone under and set my low back down, and then let the knees come together at the center. You might have to toe heel your feet around a little bit to find the right angle so that you feel super supported without having to use any effort to like balance or keep your legs up. If this feels like a nice place to stay, go ahead and stay. If you do prefer Shavasana with your legs outstretched, go ahead and make your way there. And maybe taking a couple of sighs, a couple of clearing breaths. Here you are again at your yoga mat. Taking a moment to reflect on why you're here. Why do you come back to your yoga mat? Why do you come back to this practice? What does it do for you or do for your life? And what would you like your intention to be for today's class? Maybe having something to do with the reason you're here, the reason you return. And as you choose your intention today, I invite you to expand your verbiage to include not only just your intention for yourself, but maybe for a larger group. It could be all beings everywhere. It could be, wishing peace and presence to my neighborhood or my family, but just see where your heart, where your mind takes you here, expanding an intention beyond you today. Checking in with the muscles around your jaw, your face, your head, your neck, the upper body, letting go of any tension that you're able to control. Checking in with your mind here. Are there any thoughts that keep kind of interrupting your presence? Are there any thoughts that you need to think about for a second before you're able to focus? Concentrating a little more intently on your breath, drawing air down to the lowest parts of the lungs. Maybe you're already doing some belly breathing. breathing in such a way that it's more expansive than your normal breath, but minimum amount of effort possible to get there. Getting into your own flow, watching the breath come and go. Checking in, are you able to sense the gentle beat of your heart or the temperature of your body? As you continue to breathe, I invite you to try with each inhale, spreading out all of your fingers. So breathing in, fingers spread out wide. And exhale, fingertips into a gentle fist. So we're just kind of moving between those two inhales, hands, fingertips spread out wide. Exhales have you relaxing and then balling up the hands. Go ahead and continue a couple times. Sliding your hands down by your sides. We'll add on to this breathing and movement with an inhale and start to reach the arms up in the air and then up and overhead. Just a little bit to start. With your exhales, let your hands float back down by your sides. Every inhale, exploring your range of motion, maybe taking like a half lift or sometimes maybe going a little farther. Go ahead and keep exploring. Inhales, reaching up and over, and exhales, lowering your hands back by your sides. You can get a little creative with it too. Maybe you sweep your arms around and then up, and then around and down like you're making a snow angel. You just want to match the inhales to the upward sweep and the exhales as we return back to our starting point. Your arms want to move together in unison. Is there a way to feel this flow, but doing opposite hand and arm movements? Giving that a try for a little bit if you want, switching so that one arm is lifting as the other one is lowering, and vice versa. Adding your own flair anytime. And eventually bringing your hands back down by your sides. Let's go ahead and start to straighten the legs. Give the knees a little bit of a bounce, your feet a little bit of a shake or a wiggle. Circling your ankles a couple times both ways. Stretching. Okay, let's reach long for a long full body stretch. Hands reaching high now to join in. Let's move into banana pose, walking the feet over toward the right edge of the mat, grabbing hold of your left arm or wrist, and gently pulling the upper body toward the right, creating that nice side bend, banana-like shape. Breathing into the left side, into that left lung. When your body says it's time, go ahead and switch sides, heels over toward the left side of the mat, grabbing hold of the right wrist or arm, and gently pulling over to the left. Once again, creating that banana shape, side bend. Noticing and then breathing into that right side a bit more. Using your breath to help you find length. And then coming back to the center now, let's pull the knees in toward the chest. Take a little bit of a rocking motion or a circling motion of your knees as you massage out your low back. All right, we're gonna meet up in a seat next. You could turn on to either side and press your way up to a seat, or maybe rock and roll a time or two up and down the spine if that feels good. Making your way to a seat, whichever, we'll do a cross-legged seat here, whichever leg is in front, that's fine. Let's take a little forward fold over our crossed legs. So at first, kind of start getting into your forward fold. And then with an inhale, let's imagine halfway lifting. So we're straightening the spine. And then exhale, folding back over. You can choose how far you go here, maybe using blocks for support, or maybe keeping your arms or elbows on your knees if that feels good to you. Little forward fold. Breathing and feeling the expansiveness throughout your back. Start to come on up. We'll move our way into a little back bend, bringing your hands behind you, and then puffing your chest up. You can look up toward the sky, but try to keep the neck muscles engaged here instead of letting your head kind of flop back. And we're opening up through the collarbones, through the heart center. Taking a couple of, maybe letting your head kind of rock side slightly or swaying your shoulders side to side. And your chin rise back up to neutral. Let's switch the cross of the legs. So whichever one was behind now comes to the front. And in your own timing, starting to find a forward fold again. At some point, inhale and take a halfway lift, straightening the spine. And then exhale, folding back in. Relax all your facial features and your jaw. Just hang out here in your fold for about 3 more breaths. Start to walk your way back up. We're finding that little back bend again. So hands come behind us, puffing your chest up. And enjoying a little bit of swaying movement if that feels good to you, or just stay still. Let's take a clearing breath up here. Inhale through the nose, sigh through the mouth. Take your time as you sit back up. And then we'll come to tabletop, hands and knees. Feet sweeping around and back. Hands below the shoulders, knees below the hips. With an inhale, cow pose, belly lowering, gaze lifting. Exhale, cat, rounding your spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone, pressing the floor away. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Feel free to experiment with a couple different breathing styles. Maybe you take a breath in for cat, and then a clearing breath or a sigh, or sorry, for cow, and then a clearing breath for cat. Coming back to neutral, let's lift that left hand straight up or straight ahead of us, and the right leg out behind us, pressing more into both the right hand and left knee that are pressing into the floor. Staying here, or join me with a little movement flow here. Inhale, and then exhale, curling your knee towards your elbow underneath you. Inhale, expand your arm and leg in both directions. Exhale, curl. 2 more like that. Inhale, expand. Exhale, curl. Last time. Inhale, expand. This time, with your exhale, place your left hand down and your right leg comes out toward the right side of your mat, and plant your right foot down. We're going to find a little bit of a rocking motion here, getting some sensation, some stretching through the inner right leg there. You can grab some blocks, get a little higher, depending on how it feels for you. You could experiment with kind of externally rotating your left leg so that your right toes are facing upward, and then just kind of rotate in and out a couple times. Rock maybe a little bit more. Okay, bringing your knee back to center. Let's switch sides. So this time, the right arm reaches forward, left leg reaches back. Take a breath in. Exhale, curl that right elbow in toward the left knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl one last time. We're inhaling to extend. Exhale, step your left foot out to the left side and set your foot down. Let's find that rocking motion to get into the left inner leg. Whenever it feels good to you, maybe doing that internal external rotation of your left leg. So the left toes are facing up and then down, almost like your whole left thigh is like a steering wheel. Playing around for as long as you'd like. And then we'll meet up in extended child's pose with the knees out wide. Big toes touching behind you. Lowering your head and heart toward the mat. Possibly grabbing some props for support. Let's take a clearing breath in through the nose and a sigh through the mouth. Start to rise up, tabletop. Let's grab our blocks and find our way to downward dog, curling the toes under, lifting the knees, reaching the tailbone high, creating that nice A-frame shape with the body. Find your breath here first and foremost. Nice strong breath, possibly finding movement next with a little pedaling out of opposite knees, or bending and straightening opposite knees rather. You're welcome to stay right here or join me in more of an experimental movement flow here. So take a breath in, downward dog. Exhale, plank. at the top, shifting forward. Let's do this without breath the first time. Then we're gonna sit back, so we're bending the knees, reaching the seat toward the heels. And then straighten your legs back to downward dog. So we'll do that a couple of times. Let's inhale, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, straighten the legs. Downward dog. Exhale, plank. Oops, I messed it up already. We're inhaling, then we inhale to plank. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale here. One last time. Inhale, plank. Exhale, bending the knees. Inhale, downward dog. We'll start to walk the hands to the back of the mat, finding a forward fold at the back. Ragdoll. Take a couple moments here to sway or nod your head yes, shake your head no. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows. And then releasing the grip. Start to make your way up to standing. Take your sweet time. Maybe walking your hands up your legs. And then at the top, if it feels safe and comfortable to you, I invite you to close your eyes and just let your body start finding some little movements. Maybe it ends up being kind of like a shaking or a bouncing movement. Maybe it's more of a swaying or a twisting. Just see how your body naturally wants to start moving, just to kind of get everything circulating. Doesn't have to make sense to you, but just continuing to move for a little bit in ways that feel interesting, ways that your body just wants you to. Couple last moments here. And then we'll meet up at the back side of the mat. Take a look down at your feet, wiggle the toes, spread out your toes, and then back down. With an inhale, let's reach hands high overhead. Exhale, baby back bend, cactusing the arms, squeezing the glutes as you lift the heart. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands all the way out to your blocks. Plank pose. One breath in, breath out, sit back, glutes toward your heels. Inhale, plank, straightening the legs. Exhale, sit back. One last time, inhale, plank. Exhale, lower your knees, and then lower your chest. Take your time as you set up for a few rounds of baby cobra, pressing the tops of your feet down into the mat so much that you feel your thighs and your glutes turn on. Inhale, baby cobra, lifting your head and heart. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. One last time, inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, press your way up to tabletop and back to child's pose. Couple of nice big breaths when you get there. Inhale, tabletop. And exhale, downward dog. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last breath in. Last breath out. Inhale, bend your knees, look up to the top of your mat, but with your exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat, forward fold at the back. Toe heel your feet out a little wider. Grab your blocks for support if you want. We're gonna go through a couple of rounds of our kind of frog squat here. So just start to lower. I like to have my hands on blocks here, lifting the heels, bending your knees, finding this kind of little like frog kind of squat. Puffing the chest up here for a moment or two, possibly bringing your hands to heart center if you'd want to turn this into a moment for balance. So either balancing or choosing to flow with it. Maybe with your exhales, you press your hands into blocks and straighten your legs, bringing you back to a forward fold. Inhales maybe have you coming to frog. Find your way of being with this little frog squat moment, stillness or movement. Balancing or stability, holding on. We'll all meet up in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold with a deep bend of your knees. Inhale, rise all the way up, joining your palms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a couple of breaths to yourself. Maybe sending your intention out there to all the other people or beings that you're expanding to today. And a clearing breath together into the nose. Sigh to release. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale, hands high, upward salute. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, walking your hands all the way out to your high plank. Big breath in there. Exhale, sitting back towards your heels. Inhale, downward dog, straighten the legs. Exhale, high plank. Take one breath in here, high plank. And exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest. 3 more rounds of baby cobra your way. Pressing the tops of your feet down and then using some inhales to rise and exhales to lower. Inhales to rise, exhales to lower. Maybe about one more or so. We'll meet up in child's pose, so eventually pressing your way up to your tabletop and then back. Your version of child's pose, knees can be out wide or a little closer together. Inhale, rise up, tabletop, grabbing hold of your blocks. Then exhale, finding downward dog. One big breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale, 3-legged down dog, right toes lift behind you. Exhale, step just that right foot forward, planting the foot between your blocks or kind of wiggling it up there if you can. With an inhale, high lunge. We lift the hands high. Take a couple of breaths in a few moments here to check in with the pelvis. We want to square the hips towards the front of your space. So grabbing hold of the hip points and just kind of seeing where they're pointing. And then reaching the hands high again. Like for me, I need to bend my back knee a little bit more to have my pelvis feeling, or my back gets like crunchy if that leg is too straight. Right, breathing in and out. Inhale, reaching high. And exhale, lower your hands down to the blocks, lower your left knee as well. Take a big breath in, sweep your arms back up. Exhale, open arm twist toward the right. Take 3 breaths in the twist. One more breath. And then bringing your hands back down to blocks. Curl your left toes under, pick up that left knee, and then step your right foot back to downward dog. Clearing breath in through the nose and sigh it out. One more like that. Inhale, left toes high behind you, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, step just that left foot forward. Inhale, rising up, that left knee is bent. We're checking in with the pelvis here and the bend of that back knee. Big breath in and out. 2 more breaths in and out. 1 more breath in and exhale. Lower your hands down to the blocks, lower your right knee to the mat. Untuck your right toes or keep them tucked under, either way. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, open arm twist toward the left. Spend a few breaths here with your twist. Noticing those little stabilizing muscles kind of twitching or activating. This is good. We are strengthening. 1 more breath in. And then exhale, bring your hands to your blocks. Curl your right toes under, pick up your right knee, and step back, downward dog. 1 last big breath in and out. Inhale, bend your knees, look up toward the top of your mat. Exhale and walk your hands to the back. Forward fold at the back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending your knees a little deeper. Inhale, press up, upward salute. Exhale, hands join at heart center. Spend a few moments with that intention again, connecting to that intention and outward to those you wish to receive it or experience it. Let's take a clearing breath together. Go ahead and blink your eyes open if they were closed. Let's take a few moments here to do some balancing. So today, as we warm up for balancing, let's just clear the space. Take a look around your space. Make sure there's nothing in your way. If you are a little wobbly, even if you're not, having something close by, like a wall or a chair, can just be really helpful as we go. So we're just going to start with a little side-to-side stepping. And I know this doesn't really seem like balancing, but activating these muscles on the hips that help us to open and close can actually really help us a lot. If you want to get going with it, it's kind of fun to like open the arms as you step. Or maybe you let your arms cross as you step both ways. Maybe there's another kind of movement that just seems kind of fun. And I bet you might be able to feel the outside of the hips here, but you can feel that working. And now we're gonna try to stop on one foot and just see if you can balance. Maybe you find tree pose, maybe you keep this more experimental and you just kind of stop balancing on the right leg. Take a little bit of time exploring, maybe moving, shifting your weight around a little bit just to see, or just to practice shifting and continuing to keep your balance even as things change. Ooh. And then whenever you get tired on that leg, just go ahead, step over to the left, and see if you can catch yourself up on that left leg, possibly holding here, finding tree pose, or exploring, shifting weight, moving a little bit, and seeing. Honestly, this feels the most fun to me, is like the shifting and moving and like almost failing, failing, and my brain just feels happy doing these weird movements. Okay, whenever you've had enough, go ahead and step down, maybe take a couple last steps side to side. And then with the legs about shoulder width distance apart, let's stretch out the side of the hips that we were kind of working there. So we're just going to shift the hips way over toward the left, and then reach your left arm up and over and just kind of move around, almost like you're, trying to tune an antenna. You just move around a little bit till you get that signal, till you get that sweet spot where you can feel some stretch, some opening right there on the left hip. And then switching sides at some point, pressing the hips over, maybe reaching your right arm up and over, or just keeping it down, focusing on that right hip now. And we'll just move into a couple little hip circles, like you're hula hooping. Maybe you can keep your hands on the hip points, or like keep them out, just like a belly dancing type of move. Or switch sides or switch directions when you're ready. Doesn't matter what it looks like here. Okay, let's head on back down to the floor. Coming on down right to your back, bringing your knees in with you. And eventually we're all meeting up here with the knees hugging in toward the chest. We're taking a little bit of free movement here, massaging out the back. And bringing your feet down to the mat. Let's bring the arms out wide. Let's scoot the pelvis over toward the left edge of the mat, and then allow your knees to start lowering and twisting to the right. Now you might just stay as you land. You want to experiment with another variation. You might pick up your right foot and kind of cross your right heel on the outside of your left knee. Stacking the outside of the right foot on top of the outside of the left knee in your twist. Maybe turning your head to the left. Two or three more breaths. Start to think about switching sides, bringing everything up to center first. Scooting your pelvis toward the right edge of the mat this time before allowing your knees to twist toward the left. Same thing here, maybe just letting your knees kind of be as they are on props or kind of hanging out. Maybe you pick up that left leg, crossing your left ankle bone on the outside of the right thigh, right knee. And then possibly turning your head away from the knees toward the right. 2 more breaths. When the timing is right, come back up. If there are any last poses, movements, or stretches that you're wanting before our final meditation, our final rest, feel free to move through those now. Eventually choosing a resting position. It could be constructive rest, like how we started today, or maybe Shavasana with your legs and arms extended. If you are like in your living room or somewhere where you could throw the legs up onto the seat of a chair or an ottoman or a couch, that could be a really nice position. Try as many options out and then settle on in. And if you're starting to get some signals like it'd feel better if XYZ, go ahead and listen to those. Like right now, I'm thinking a little something underneath the center of my back would feel nice. Oh, yeah. Tucking in the shoulder blades beneath you so that the chest is open. Closing your eyes if that feels good, or just kind of softening your gaze. And today's meditation will include some free association and exploration of color. So first, just settling in, tending to the physical experience you're having. If there's any more support needed, grabbing that. Paying close attention to your breath now. If your breath had a color or mix of colors, what would they be? Call to mind the color red. Can you visualize the color red? What objects come to mind as you explore the color red? Almost like you're just kind of standing back as the witness, watching as your thoughts, your mind kind of shifts through all the files and, oh, read this, read that. See if you can kind of step back as the witness and just kind of see these happenings of the mind working. So once again, the color red. Imagining now the color red as you inhale and exhale, filling the body with red. How does it feel to be with red? And orange. Can you call to mind the color orange? What kind of associations does your mind make with the color orange? other objects or emotions, smells, or beyond. As if you could breathe in this color of orange, the medicine of orange. Every breath in, imagining your orange tank, if you will, filling up. And how does it feel when you invite orange to be part of your experience? And then yellow, calling to mind or attempting to visualize the color yellow. Relaxing the muscles of your face, stepping back into the role of the witness. See what your mind calls up when you're thinking about the color yellow. Breathing in and welcoming the color, the medicine of yellow. Every inhale, imagining your yellow compartment or your yellow tank filling up. Seeing if there's any visceral feelings as you explore yellow. Green is next. Visualizing the color green. Watching your mind make associations and recalling objects that are green. Taking your time to incorporate green into your present moment. Breathing in with the color green when you're ready. Trying on the color green, so to speak. And blue. What shade of blue do you visualize? Watching your mind draw up imagery and objects that are blue from your memory. Inviting the color blue in to your experience a bit deeper with the breath. How does it feel to be with blue? And last but not least today, we have purple. See if you can visualize purple. What kind of imagery pops up with the color purple? Are there any emotions attached? Inviting purple in more and more with each breath. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing now if your breath or your experience feels like a color or a swirl of colors, just seeing what is for you here for the last few breaths of our meditation. in your own way, thanking or honoring these colors, sending them on their way, and beginning a reawakening process with some small movements of fingers and toes. Maybe growing those movements a little bigger, circling ankles and wrists, yawning or stretching. Eventually rolling onto either side, finding the fetal position for a moment or two. And then using the help of your arms to press your way up to a comfortable seat. Joining hands at heart center, calling to mind your intention once again, deciding if you're ready to release that intention or if you'd like to keep it with you off of the mat today. Either way is okay. And together we'll seal in our practice with a deep sigh and a bow forward, inhaling through the nose, sighing it out with our little bow forward. Peace. Thank you, everyone, for being part of today's class. Let me know if you ever have thoughts or requests. You all are so easygoing. And if you'd like to say a quick goodbye, you are more than welcome. Otherwise, just head out when you're ready. Bye, Carly. Hi, Dad. Bye, Dad. And Renee, we'll see you next time. Take care.